He's Rodney Harrison, Football Night in America, former Patriots defensive back who joins us now. Where do you want to start with the Patriots, Rodney, and then we'll get to the Chiefs? What happened to your team last night?
Wow, Dan, I'm sitting here thinking at my desk, and I just shake my head. I mean, I was just really embarrassed, and to be honest with you, Dan, I cut off my TV after about the third quarter. It was just a total train wreck.
All right, what did you see last night? Let's just look at the offense right now.
Okay.
Is this Tom Brady's fault? Is it the offensive line's fault?
It's everybody's fault, Dan. I mean, I think you can place blame on offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. I think you have to look at Brady. Definitely that offensive line, Belichick. Everyone's to blame. I mean, when you have Tom Brady, who's not playing particularly well this first, few games, first quarter of the season, the offensive line, he looks scared to death. He just doesn't look comfortable. I mean, he looks every time he drops back, he looks like he's fearing for his life. And when you start two rookies and you have Sebastian Vollmer and Nate Soldier, they're big stiffs. They struggle blocking these athletic defensive pass rushers. You don't have any down the field threats. I mean, it's a complete mess. I mean, you go out and you get Danny Amendola, no production from him. You don't have anybody I don't know, man. I'm just at a loss for words at it right now.
But I don't understand how they didn't see this happening. I thought the defense was going to be really good this year. But as far as the offense, they didn't add to the offense. They subtracted when you trade Logan Mankins. But I think they just left it up to Brady and said, all right, just cobble something together, make us respectable because we're going to load up on defense this year.
I think it's one of those things where you get in a situation where you feel like you could just put guys out there, and because of the system, because you have Brady, because you have Belichick, that it just works. Well, I think people realize it's not supernatural like that. It just doesn't work out that way, and I think people can realize, too, how good of teams that we had back in 03 and 04 and 05 and those type teams. Because it's not just about scheme. It's not just about the coaching staff. You have to have the personnel to be able to go out there and make those plays. Rob Gronkowski, I think you'll see him coming off ACL injury. He's not going to be the same. He'll never be the same player. He can still be a very good tight end and one of the best in the league, but he's not going to be the same. Darrelle Revis coming off ACL. I think that's what you see in him. I've had an ACL, and my knee to this day, no matter how much I rehab it, no matter how much I run, cut, and do all those different things, you will never return to the player that you once was. And I think that's what you're starting to see with this team.
As a former defensive back, how excited would you be to play the Patriots?
Well, you got to love it because it's not like, everyone talks about this Bill Belichick defense, but it's nothing exotic. I mean, they play base defense. They play cover one. They play some zone coverage. When a quarterback's dropping back, it's not like they have such a great pass rush where the defensive backs are licking their chops. They can jump, different routes, and they can play aggressive. The quarterback has all day.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the thing. Chandler Jones is playing good football.
But wouldn't you want to play against Brady right now? That's what I'm saying. As a former defensive back, wouldn't you want to play against the Patriots offense?
Yeah, you would love to, because what Kansas City basically did is said, we're not afraid of you, Brady. We know we're going to put pressure directly in your face. We're going to come around the corners, and we're going to challenge these wide receivers. They don't have wide receivers where you're losing sleep at night. Now, if I have to face against Julio Jones and A.J. Green, I'm losing sleep at night. But when you look at Danny Amendola, Brandon LaFell, and those guys, you can't. It's hard for me to picture winning a championship with those guys, and that's why they keep falling short.
He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America, former Patriots defensive back, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. You said Kansas City wouldn't make the playoffs this year.
I still believe that.
Okay.
Man. I look at Kansas City, and it's like they played well, and everyone's texting me and say, hey, look at Kansas City, they look great. Well, it's not hard to look great on Monday night. People get pumped up for primetime games, but it's the games like against Tennessee and those other games that you have to have that same consistency. And when you look at the AFC West, they're the third best team in the AFC West. Now, we'll get a chance to see here in the next month exactly how true, how real Kansas City is, but at the same time, you got to give Andy Reid a lot of credit. I mean, he had some injuries on the defensive side side of the ball. When you lose Derek Johnson, Eric Berry didn't play. Dwayne Bowe was suspended the first game of the season. And I didn't look on that offense and see a lot of playmakers outside of Jamal Charles, who's been hurt. So it's one of those things where other guys are stepping up. Kelsey, the running back, the young running back, he stepped up. And, you know, if Alex Smith, if he can refrain from turning the ball over, they have a chance.
A couple other items here. I'm curious the situation with the Jets with Michael Vick and Geno Smith, where you do have a guy who's proven himself as the backup. And then you look at Buffalo, where E.J. Manuel is being benched for Kyle Orton, who doesn't have the pedigree of Michael Vick. So, and both teams want to win now. I'm just surprised. And maybe I'm overinflating Michael Vick's worth. I just think
you are.
You don't think Vick gives you a better chance to win?
No, I think Vick gives you an opportunity to win, Dan. I also believe that he gives you a spark. But when I look at Buffalo, Kyle Orton, he can play. And the one thing that he's going to give you that presence, that veteran presence, that confidence. He's going to go in there. He's been in different situations in Denver and in Chicago, and he's handled himself pretty much the right way.
He gives you a better chance than E.J. Manuel?
No question. He's scared to death back there, Dan. He's throwing the ball up for grabs. That's the one thing, and that's the one thing that we saw early. He's not taking shots down the field. He's holding the ball. He looks hesitant, and they have a lot of playmakers around him. When you look at Buffalo, man, they can match up probably position to position with any other team in this league.
Yeah.
Cal, you have to make that change. And if I'm Rex Ryan, I'm saying, hey, I got to give my team a spark. But Geno Smith, he's killing the Jets. Time and time again, you say, well, he's the future. He's the face of the franchise. But nobody wants to sit around and wait for that crap. You have to produce right now. And now they got a tough game coming up this week.
Would you make that? Because they got 3 big games coming up, the Jets.
It's just dysfunctional right now because you probably got the general manager saying, hey, we're committed to Geno. Then you got the head coach who's conflicted because he's saying, hey, maybe I want to go to Michael Vick, but I don't want to cause a PR controversy. And now, you know, we're arguing and we're doing all these different things inside the media. Me, personally, I would give my team a spark, at least try Michael Vick. And like Coach Dungy always says, you can always go back to Geno, but I think Geno needs to sit on the sideline and kind of observe a little bit, take a step away, and maybe gain a little perspective.
Yeah, but this is a second-round pick, you know, Geno Smith. It wasn't like you took him in the top 5. You know, I mean, Blake Bortles was 3rd overall, and he wasn't starting. So it's not a big money commitment like it used to be. That's why I throw Vic in there and see if we can salvage this season.
Yeah.
And if you're playing for the future, fine. But they didn't build for the future. They're ready. Rex has to win now.
Yeah, and I know Michael Vick, and that's an excellent point. Michael Vick, he's saying all the right things, but I just, you know, he has to be burning on the inside, just saying, like, I want an opportunity. I mean, when you go up, when you're backing someone up and you see that starter is struggling, it infuriates you inside because you're saying, hey, here I am. I've done a lot of great things in the league. I need an opportunity. And you look at the other players, the defensive players. I played with Ryan Leaf, and every week, you know, it's the same thing: turnover, strip sack, interception, fumble, and you get to a point where the defense becomes separate from the offense. Then you start blaming those guys. Then the defense starts looking at the coach, and now the division happens in the locker room. Then the bitterness comes, and then what happens is you end up being about 4-10. And then guys, if they have a sprained ankle, instead of staying out 2 or 3 days, they're going to stay out 2 or 3 weeks because now they don't want to go back out on the field because they say, why should I put myself in harm's way if the coach doesn't care about us?
All right, before I let you go, if the Patriots don't win Sunday night against the Bengals, what?
They still have a chance because they're playing probably the worst division in football. So they still have a chance to win their division.
Well, the AFC South is probably the worst.
Yeah, but the AFC East is really bad, too.
It's over for Tom Brady. Get Jimmy Garoppolo in there. Right, Rod?
It's not over.
Oh, it's not.
Relax, Dan. I thought you said you're the Tom Brady of Sunday Night Football.
I am, but I've clearly lost it.
That's why you're performing so bad, huh?
If I play like that, perform like that, then I think it's time to bring in Liam McHugh and take my place there.
Nah, we don't want Liam right now. We still want you, Dan.
Thank you, Rod.
Take care, bud.
Rodney Harrison, Football Night in America.